Namaste, Angel. This is going to be our weekly general reading for the period of January 21st through the 27th. And I'm doing it early. It's almost Friday. It's Thursday night at 11:53 p.m. But I found the time and I wanted to get it done because I've had so many personal readings to do this week. Not complaining, thankful, giving all glory and thanks to the universe. And to you clients who entrust me, with your spiritual guidance. I appreciate it. Not just for me, but on behalf of the light, I appreciate it. Because, I think that it's how we continue to pull one another up. And I mean that in terms of vibration, keep the positivity and the light flowing and being exchanged back and forth between us, giving and receiving that positive energy. So I very much appreciate it for all those reasons. So I'm not complaining, but I've had a lot of personal readings to do this week. And so when I found this opportunity to go ahead and knock out the general, I said, let me do it. I still may get some personal readings. As you know, I tend to like to wait until at least Saturday morning. Any readings that I receive during a given week, I like to, any reading orders that I receive during a given week, I like to actually perform and provide those readings by the end of the week, by the Saturday evening. So I tend to give people until Saturday morning to order. So I'm going to go ahead and knock this one out of the way. I won't have to do the general. It won't be late if I take on, extra readings or whatever. I'm actually not going to post the readings that I did this week because like I said, I did so many, and a lot of them were over the phone and stuff. It's like they come in groups. It's so funny. I'm like, another one over the phone, another one over the phone. How weird. But yeah, they come in like these spurts. In any case, let's do this. So because I'm doing it early, I'm not going to include the sky this week. So as always, anybody wanting to see what's going on in the sky this week as far as the celestial system and the astronomy, as opposed to the astrology, please do go to www.astronomy.com. I am not a paid sponsor, but I think it's an awesome site, and that's the site that I use, and I give them credit for their material as I'm supposed to, as is the legal way to do it. www.astronomy.com, the sky this week. Okay, so what we will do is go into the astrology, or go over the astrology quickly. All right, so I'm going back all the way to the first again. The first was the full moon in Cancer. For some of us, it was the second. Also on the second, Uranus went direct. I had been in retrograde for a very long time. It felt like finally went direct. Next up was the 7th. When we had that, well, that wasn't really astrology, that was astronomy, Jupiter and Mars coming like visibly close to it, visibly by the naked eye, close to each other for the first time in 20 years. So that happened. The 11th, Mercury entered Capricorn. So it joined Venus there. Venus already had been in Capricorn, or is in Capricorn. On the 16th, we had the new moon also in Capricorn. And the 17th, Venus left Capricorn and entered Aquarius. So real Queen of Swords stuff going on right now. Because like in Aquarius is the fixed sign of the element of air. And in the tarot, at least for me, I think it's pretty standard, pretty traditional, that the queens tend to represent the fixed sign of, a given element. So that would be Aquarius. So the queen of air is an Aquarius. Now you might say, but you call yourself the queen of air or queen of swords and you're not an Aquarius. Well, first, all the air signs, but the females, we can be queens of air, but I'm actually an Aquarius moon. Oh, and speaking of that, today there is an Aquarius moon. So throwing that trivia out there too. The next up is the 19th. So in 3 minutes from now, it'll be the 19th. The sun enters Aquarius as well. And I'm forgetting something. Oh, what I'm forgetting is not part of the astrology. So that's it for the, astrology thus far. Also falling in this week, Mars enters Sagittarius on the 26th. So right now Mars is in Scorpio, which it rules. It's leaving Scorpio on the 26th and moving into Sagittarius. I didn't mention also in Capricorn as of December, Lilith, Black Moon Lilith. So also there in Capricorn. So that was her, Venus, Mercury. Yeah, that's it. That's enough, right? All in Capricorn. So Venus leaving and Mercury and Lilith will be there. What else for this week? Nothing. Everything else is next week. The full moon, full blue moon and lunar eclipse in Leo will be on the 31st. Also, Mercury will be leaving Capricorn, leaving Lilith alone there and moving into Aquarius to join Venus. And also on the 31st, it's not astrology, but also on the 31st on the Hebrew calendar is the fast day of the month of Shavat to be Shavat. So with that, I'm going to go on to what else is going on in the world of theology, spirituality, dare I say religion, although I'm not religious, but you know, some of these are practiced religiously by some folks. This week, nothing on the Jewish calendar, nothing until to be Shavat, again on the 31st. On the Christian calendar, we do have on the 24th, the feast day of Our Lady, Queen of Peace. So that is a feast day attributed to Mary. I have my Mary cards out. I'm going to do something with her cards today, do a spread with her cards. On the 25th is the feast day of the conversion of Saint Paul, the apostle. So remember Paul on the road to Damascus. So some of you who were raised with these stories will remember that. He was a Gentile. He was anti-Jesus. He didn't believe until he got blinded and knocked down in the road and had to be saved, as the story goes. And when the fish scales fell from his eyes, he was a believer. And then he went on to preach to the Gentiles and sort of be like the patron apostle over them. All right, so I'll do a little reading from Wikipedia about Our Lady, Queen of Peace, very quickly. Queen of Peace, Our Lady of Peace, Mother of Peace, or Our Lady, Queen of Peace are titles of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Roman Catholic Church. She is represented in art as holding a dove and an olive branch, symbols of peace. Her official memorial feast is celebrated on July 9th, with the exception of Hawaii and some churches in the United States, where it is instead celebrated on January 24th. So I'll go down to the patronage. They talk about the different countries and the history, how it got started and where it's celebrated. Maybe I'll do a little bit of that. France. The traditional story holds that in the early 1500s, or 156, I just ended, in France, a certain Jean de Joyeuse, Joyeuse, I'm sure it is not pronounced that way, but I'm pronouncing it very American. It's a French name, of course. This presented the statue as a wedding gift to his young bride, Francois E. Voisin. The statue was known as the Virgin of Joyeuse and became a cherished family heirloom. Around the year 1588, Jean's grandson, which is 7, of course. 1 plus 5 is 6, and 8 plus 8 is 16, which equals 7, which equals 13, or 4, or 11. 11, of course, I've been over many times how 13 is associated with the Blessed Mother. Around the year 1588, Jean's grandson, Henry Joyeuse, or Henri, is probably how it was pronounced, joined the Capuchin Franciscans in Paris and brought the statue with him, where it remained for the next 200 years. With the olive branch in her hand and the Prince of Peace on her arm, the statue was called Notre Dame de Paix, or Our Lady of Peace. In the year 1657, the Capuchin community erected a larger chapel to accommodate the growing number of faithful who sought her intercession. Intercession is what I went over last week, what I do. And oh my goodness, so many more people than usual watch the general reading. Like usually the love reading is which gets all the attention, and the general reading, not so much. And it tends to vary that way no matter how many people watch it. If, 4,000 people watch the love reading, only 3 watch the general. If only 1,500 people watch the love reading, maybe only 1,000 watch the general. But this time it was the general watching more. And I believe it's because I mentioned that I do exorcism and intercession, not completely unlike Jesus. I mean, that's what he did too. He was of a much, higher vibration than myself. But at the grassroots, it's the same work. It's his teachings. It's what he was taught to do. And the dark has been dying to know how I do it. They've tried many, many different ways and attempts to try to figure out how I do it and what it is that I do when I perform things like the Divine Light Cleanse and all of that. I'm not going to reveal it, but they can't do it anyway. It's intercession. How can a dark entity perform intercession, or an exorcism? That's like so contradictory. It's like an oxymoron. So they can't, and they won't, and I won't. It's sort of like in the scriptures, which I guess ultimately Moses must have revealed his ways. But in the scriptures, is very specifically, he was given very specific instructions, as was I, as to how he was supposed to perform certain tasks, and told not to reveal, the instructions, not to reveal different recipes of how much essential oil went into, which anointing and all that sort of thing. He wasn't supposed to. Oh, and guess what? Moses, still believed to this day among Jewish people to be the only prophet who could really speak to God and hear God. Now, this is of all the, highly revered and honored and respected prophets like Elijah, they would hear and speak to God in different ways, intuitively and stuff like that. You can hear him inside your own head. But as far as talking plainly, still believed to this day in the Jewish religion, the only prophet that could do it was Moses. In Gematria, Moses's name is 613. So I just came full circle with what I was talking about. I spoke about the 613 and the 13 and with regard to Mary. Now we're up to, when I saw that intercession, I had to stop and say something. But Moses' number, his name, the name Moses, or Moishis in Hebrew, equals 613 in Gematria. I speak a few different numerical languages, as some of you know. In any case, let me get back to this. On July 9th that year, before a large crowd, which included King Louis the X1V 14th, the papal nuncio to France blessed and solemnly enthroned the Virgin statue. Pope Alexander VII would later designate this date for the Capuchin community to celebrate the Feast of Our Lady of Peace. During the French Revolution, which erupted in 1789, the Capuchins were driven from their monastery. They took the image with them to prevent its destruction by the ransacking rebels. When peace was restored in the land, the statue was brought out of hiding and entrusted to Peter Coudrin, a priest in Paris in 1800. Coudrin and Henriette Chevalier became co-founders of a community of sisters, brothers, and priests, the Congregation of the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary, and the Perpetual Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. Coudrin gave the statue to Mother Eimer, who enshrined it in the convent chapel in the Picpus district of Paris on May 6th. So there we have an 11. May 5, 6, in the year 1806, which is 6. The members were also known more simply as the Picpus Fathers or Sacred Hearts religious, excluding its pedestal the figure of a dark hardwood. So it was probably not only the Virgin Mary, but it was probably like the Black Madonna kind of statue. It's 11 inches tall and it's fashioned in the Renaissance style of the period. Mary is depicted as a dignified matron with the Christ child on her left arm and an olive branch in her right hand. So that's how it came to be. In France, celebrated. It goes on to talk about El Salvador. And as far as her, so anybody wants to read about that and other shrines are mentioned here too, please go. I'm at wikipedia.com and all I did was type in Feast of Our Lady of Peace. But I will quickly read the patronage. Our Lady of Peace is the patroness of the Congregation of Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary, a religious order founded by Peter Coudrin in Paris during the French Revolution. When the Congregation of the Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary established the Catholic Church in Hawaii, they consecrated the Hawaiian Islands under the protection of Our Lady of Peace. They erected the first Roman Catholic Church in Hawaii to her. Today, the Cathedral of Our Lady of Peace in Honolulu is the oldest Roman Catholic cathedral in the continuous use in the United States. There are 3 famous statues of Our Lady of Peace located in Paris and Honolulu. The original is a wooden carving located at a convent of the Congregation of Sacred Hearts of Jesus and Mary in France. A larger replica in bronze was hoisted above the altar and sanctuary at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Peace, while a third stands on a pedestal outside the cathedral. The original statue of Our Lady of Peace was ceremonially crowned on July 9th, 1906, which is 7-7, right? 7-9 equals 7. And 1906 also equals 7. Yes, 7-7. The Archbishop of Paris in the name of Pope St. Pius X. Every July 9th since then, the Congregation of the Sacred Heart of Jesus and Mary have celebrated the Feast of Our Lady of Peace. During the troubled years of World War I, Pope Benedict XV added Our Lady of Peace to the Litany of Loreto, a sacred prayer in liturgy. And that's that. And that's for the 24th. We celebrate that on the 24th. On the next day, the 25th, is the feast day of St. Paul, the conversion of St. Paul. And for this, I'm going to read from www.franciscanmedia.org. The story of the conversion of St. Paul. St. Paul's entire life can be explained in terms of one experience, his meeting with Jesus on the road to Damascus. In an instant, he saw that all the zeal of his dynamic personality was being wasted like the strength of a boxer swinging wildly. Perhaps he had never seen Jesus, who was only a few years older, but he had acquired a zealot's hatred of all Jesus stood for as he began to harass the church. Entering house after house and dragging out men and women, he handed them over for imprisonment. And we can read about this in the book of Acts 8:3. Now he himself was entered, possessed, and all his energy harnessed to one goal, being a slave of Christ in the ministry of reconciliation, an instrument to help others experience the one Savior. One sentence determined his theology. Quote, I am Jesus, who you are persecuting. Acts 9:5. Jesus was mysteriously identified with people. The loving group of people Saul had been running down like criminals. Jesus, he saw, was the mysterious fulfillment of all he had been blindly pursuing. From then on, his only work was to, quote, present everyone perfect in Christ. For this I labor and struggle in accord with the exercise of his power working within me, end quote. Colossians 1:28-29. For our gospel did not come to you in word alone, but also in power and in the Holy Spirit, and with much convictions. 1 Thessalonians 1:5. Paul's life became a tireless proclaiming and living out of the message of the cross. Christians die baptismally to sin and are buried with Christ. They are dead to all that is sinful and unredeemed in the world. They are made into a new creation already sharing Christ's victory, and someday to rise from the dead like him. Through this risen Christ, the Father pours out the Spirit on them, making them completely new. So Paul's great message to the world was, you are saved entirely by God, not by anything you can do. Saving faith is the gift of total, free, personal, and loving commitment to Christ. A commitment that bears fruit in more, quote unquote, works than the law could ever contemplate. And that's the story of the conversion of the feast day of the conversion of St. Paul. So with that, I will go on to the dice. There was something I was going to tell you as I was reading that. Something had come to mind. Oh, it's this. We were talking about baptism and bathing, and I was reminded about, last week's reading and the week prior to that, the 7th, also the same day that Jupiter and Mars did their thing, was the feast day of the baptism of Christ. And a lot of us did spiritual baths. Some of you purchased energy, healing, cleansing from me. Perhaps from other people, you did other things, but we washed ourselves. And I talked in that reading, and I think the one subsequent to it, about the song that had come to mind, "Oh Happy Day," right? When Jesus he washed the sins away. Oh happy day. And in the reading that I did for the new moon, the Capricorn new moon, I saw death again. I felt that it was more so going to be for celebrities than for the collective. And I'm still, knock on wood, so far, it seems that is coming to pass. I haven't heard from, well, I'm going to say any of you, but that's not true, because somebody did tell me they lost their uncle. So I haven't heard from many of you, because there may have been another one too. And I don't want to be disrespectful. And people tell me, when people contact me about that, it's, it's upsetting to me. And it's my responsibility to be comforting to them, and I'm, obliged to do it. In any case, celebrities, I had definitely seen in that same day that I did and uploaded the new moon reading, 2 musicians died, separate, and apart from one another. One was a female, and I had seen that too. I said, last time it was specifically male. This time I'm feeling specifically female, or it will be a female who's feeling the loss. So if it's a male, it'll be a male that's connected to a female. In any case, the first was a female, but the second was the gentleman responsible for the song, having, written, I guess, or first performed the song, "Oh Happy Day." So I was reminded of that in reading about the baptism yet again. So I think I'm supposed to mention that. I may have also mentioned Paul on the road to Damascus that week too. Come to think of it. In any case, I'm moving right along to the dice, beginning with try again. Stay in bed. And party. Oop, orb, I think. Something just flashed before my face. I think it was an orb. Oh, and speaking of try again, it was indeed Aaliyah's birthday. I also that also came up in the Capricorn reading, new moon in Capricorn reading. Try again fell in the dice, and I said, I think it's Aaliyah's birthday. Now that I see this try again, sure enough, it was the 16th. On that day, on the 16th, I did indeed hear the song "Try Again." I heard it again today. I'm going to try again, since this did come out, and you should too. If you attempted something and it didn't quite work out, try again. First, you still don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again, as Aaliyah said. And now it is 50-50. It could go either way. And however it turns out, it turns out. We're not going to get our knickers in a bunch, as they say. Additionally, Spirit says, spend money and romantic dinner. So that perhaps that's on what you're to spend the dinner. And this yesterday, the 18th, and today, the 19th, are both supposed to be very favorable, maybe because Venus is entering Aquarius, very favorable transits. And I think she will also be opposing Jupiter, if I remember correctly. In my pin, this King Osiris pin tends to remind me when Jupiter is like in opposition or something. His back is to me right now. So I think that's what it was. Venus entering Aquarius, and she will be opposing Jupiter, or Jupiter will be opposing her. In any case, I'm going to do a first spread with my Mary, Queen of Angels, in addition to the Queen of Peace. Queen of Angels deck, begin with forgiveness. I am willing to release all resentments so that I may enjoy my life. And opening to God. I step out of the way and surrender any need for control in order to make room for God's healing love to flow through me and this situation. Some of us may want to ask for God's strength or the universe's strength, and depending upon what our belief systems are, to help us to be able to extend forgiveness. Because a lot of us are like holding on to resentment, and that also came up in the Capricorn new moon reading, and was my feelings before I even did the reading, that we're going to have to, ultimately, once and for all, release things that are holding us back from what we want. We're going to have to decide what we want, and then, let go of what we need to and pick up what we need to in order to achieve it. Forgiveness is back. And opening to faith. I have faith in God to heal this situation. Some of us may have faith in ourselves instead. Believe that we are God, which I wouldn't, necessarily argue that. My opinion is lowercase g. But other than that, I agree. Forgiveness is back. And honesty. I am in touch with my true feelings regarding this situation. Forgiveness, and one more. It's mercy. I am kind and thoughtful toward myself and others. I'm going to cut. Enthusiasm. Whatever I am most passionate about is the direction I follow. So this is about following one's heart. So again, my feeling about the energy that we're in right now, stemming from the Capricorn new moon, is that whatever it is that our heart desires, if we want to go for it, now is like really the time, if we have not done it yet, to let go of whatever has been blocking us from achieving it, or to, pick up and run with whatever we need to achieve it. Overall energy is inner child. I nurture the child within me through playfulness and self-care. So I just want to see what messages the Queen of Peace has for the masculine, has for the feminine. The union shared, or the energy shared, energy shared between both archetypes. Masculine health. My prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. So this may be on what the masculine is focusing or should focus this week. Children. My heart is filled with love for children, which creates miracles and positive change for them and for me. Children can be referring to ourselves here, and as can the health. These can be connected. Remember, our overall energy is inner child. So it could be the healing of that inner child. And faith. Maybe we heal that inner child through faith. I have faith in God to heal this situation. Feminine signs. I watch for, notice, and trust the signs that heaven continually sends. surrounded by feminine. I allow my feminine nature to shine brightly as a valuable part of my identity. And joy. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. Crowning, mercy. I am kind and thoughtful toward myself and others. At the root, Father. My true Father is God in heaven, who shines healing light upon me. Also, he shines it upon my birth father and our relationship together. So again, with this inner child, some of us may have had a poor relationship with our father, or maybe a non-existent relationship, even if we were in the same place. Sometimes you live together and you grow up with your parents, but you still just, there's no connection. They haven't been very affectionate towards you. A lot of us were raised, like this. When I say a lot of us, I mean, like beings. We went through these experiences as all part of the journey, right? And a few weeks ago, I had felt that some had never met their father or had a relationship with their father, and come to find out the father had passed away, but had left them money. I felt this, and I heard from 4 of you that were going through this. They were having to fight for the money that this father that they never knew left behind, and deal with the pain that the inner child was feeling, that when you finally discover where he is or who he is, it's too late. He's gone. So some of us may still be dealing with that too, or those kinds of situations. At the heart of the matter, there is still hope, however, right? For joy, for happiness, for peace. I trust that God has a wonderful solution and brilliant plans in store for me. And we do need to continue to trust this, not only this week, but in general. All right, it looks like a decent week from this perspective. Talk about signs. I got some hilarious ones today. Really, really funny. For one, this ring on this side, this antenna on this side got caught. I was wearing some fabric pants, knit pants. Got caught in the, pretty much on my backside as I was standing up from my chair, like a total freak accident. So my hand is basically connected to my butt now. And I'm trying to walk out of my room because I was listening to the radio, but commercials were on. So was going to take that opportunity to leave the room, and it switched from commercial to the very end of Michael Jackson Butterflies. So it wasn't even the whole song. It was just before the song went off, "You Give Me Butterflies." And I was cracking up because here my butterfly was stuck to my butt basically in that moment. But they wanted me to hear the next song, I think, which was "Forget Me Nots." And in the morning, I had gone out to the living room on my way to take my daughter to school, walking out past the living room to the front door, and the TV was on out there, and it was on Jerry Maguire. And it was the part where Cuba Gooding Jr., the character that he played, he had just won, had the winning football game, after being hurt and being benched. He had finally made his comeback, and he had played and he had won. So he was being interviewed and celebrated. And he says to the interviewer, "I'm not going to cry, Roy." And Roy is my divine masculine's name. So that was another one really, really funny. That's how I started my day. So that's the signs. If anybody experiences like that, anything like that, that's what it's about. All right, so I'm going to go to the animal tarot, beginning with the 5 of Summer. Womp womp. This is about not counting our blessings, not appreciating what we've been given, not finding the bright side. So that story I was just telling about those who had lost their fathers, unfortunately, and never got to meet them. But the bright side was that, you are learning that there was, he did care for you. He did love for you. He did include you in his family and leave you something behind, included you as part of the legacy and to continue it. So that would be the bright side. The blessing in disguise or hidden. And we're meant to look for that and to appreciate that and to be thankful, you know, that silver lining, because to not do so blocks our future blessings. Focus rather upon the fact that God loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. And opening to the Princess of Spring, who's energetic, outgoing, optimistic, and creative. Creative opportunities that you feel passionate about are fluttering your way. Personal growth and broadened horizons will spark fresh and original ideas. So I just mentioned that Mars was entering Sagittarius. For me, the Princess of Spring, which is the Page of Wands, essentially, would be Sagittarius. Of course, it can also be Leo, Aries, or anybody taking on these traits or attributes. But I first associate the Sagittarius with the Page because Sagittarius is the more youthful of the fire element. So that could be very well what this is. We have, again, Mars, which is a ruler of Scorpio, a water sign, entering Sagittarius. So maybe not being thankful for the opportunities we're being given, but here's news of a brand new one. So we really better start to be. And the King of Winter, who's intelligent, impartial, respected, and unemotional. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional, and to act as professionally as possible. If you need advice, seek out the most experienced expert you can find. The King of Winter is an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes, and can be here representing Venus, or Aquarius, which the sun is entering, or Mercury. Mercury also came up just now in the astrology for this week. Five of Summer and the Ace of Spring, which is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries again, or Scorpio perhaps, and can represent the planet Mars or Jupiter. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action and to passionately pursue every possibility. Five of Summer, I'll go one more. It's the 10 of Autumn. Contentment comes from knowing that your finances are secure and your family's material needs are taken care of. It's important to honor traditions and to have pride in your heritage and the accomplishments of your ancestors. The 10 of Autumn can represent a lump sum of money or something sometimes. And this is one of the things that made me feel what I felt when I was talking about, you know, fathers that had never met their children or never had a relationship with them, leaving them, you know, money or something. It was the 10 of Autumn was involved then. Five of Summer, I'm going to cut. Sometimes that can be like some sort of payout, settlement, maybe like a lottery winning, not necessarily, you know, Powerball or anything like that, but, you know, it's a lump sum quite often when you see the 10 of Autumn. Now it's the 3 of Autumn. This is about abundance that's earned. Like, it's not an accident that we're getting this, not a surprise, well, maybe a surprise, but we deserve it. Like, so we shouldn't be surprised. We should be, you know, just confident we deserve it, not arrogant, but confident. Your most satisfying and profitable career or relationship comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out into the world. It's another 3. The 3 of Spring. Stop to take time to review and to make long-term plans, capitalizing upon your past successes. It's important to pat yourself on the back for all of your accomplishments, but you may also need patience for the next phase to play out. The 3 of Spring is about abundance. Both the 3 of Spring and the 3 of Autumn that we just saw can also be about what I like to call parties of 3, not necessarily love triangles, but possibly. So we could be dealing with that this week too. Energy of 3. And you know what? I'm in the mood to just do this. I'm a real psychic. It doesn't really matter how I lay the cards. I can lay them like from a shuffle. I can fan them out and pull one. I can do this. There we go. I'm just in a mood. Don't mind me, as they say. Masculine, awakening. It's another 3. You think that's an accident? Of course not. I told you I can drop them any kind of way and still have the cards that we're meant to have show up. Major Arcana card 12, awakening, which is the Hanged Man in the traditional tarot. And for me, represents the sign of Pisces and the planet Neptune, which rules it. And that sort of confused energy, maybe fantasizing, dreaming, not sure what to do, where to go, how to think of, what to think, what to say. Look at things in a different way and all will make sense. Don't worry if your progress is halted, because you may be like, pause for a minute to give you the opportunity to do this. That's a good thing. Don't worry that you're halted temporarily. Things will soon start moving again. It's a very temporary energy. Make good use of it. Take the time to take a step back and look at the big picture and think things through and decide honestly what it is you want. Masculine is surrounded by the 2 of spring. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people helping you. This can be about some sort of business partnership. Now, sitting here underneath a 3, this can be about reducing the number of people involved in a particular project, situation, or relationship in your life from 3 to 2. It can be a romantic relationship. As we know, the 2 of spring for people like us it is the divine union card, or the quote unquote twin flame card of the tarot. So it can be getting out of a 3 of spring, right? A party of 3, and reducing it down to a 2. In the masculine subconscious, it's the Queen of Summer, who's compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. This is a time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful that you don't ignore your own needs while you're caring for others. The Queen of Summer is a Scorpio for me, the fixed sign of Scorpio. Would be the Queen, but it can be a Cancer, a Pisces, or anybody taking on these traits or attributes. Feminine, more water. We got water here. I said this is Neptune for me, awakening, and Neptune and Pisces. We've got Scorpio here, and now we have Judgment, or renewal, which represents the planet Pluto for me. So more Scorpio, like Scorpio mirroring Scorpio here. And this is as it relates to work and stuff and things that we earned. This is like the 3 of Earth that we just saw, but much, much stronger, of course, because it is Major Arcana. It's Major Arcana card 20. So it has a lot of weight, 20 being an 11 as well. It's time to get clarity about your life purpose and to make changes so that you're on the path most divinely suited for you. Forgive what has been without judgment. So the Mary spread also said that we should forgive what has been without judgment. Okay, this is Major Arcana card Judgment again. It's called Renewal in the Animal Tarot. Fearlessly embrace what is to come. So this is saying let go of the past, as I said we would need to do. And, just be ready to move on to the future. So we got an 11 here. We got an 11 here, or 2 2s. As it relates to relationships, judgment or renewal is about having come to like a crossroad and needing to decide where do we go from here, if anywhere. So again, like I've been saying, we got to decide, what does my heart want? Do I want to move forward? If so, how? Do I not want to move forward? Okay, then, let's make the break. The feminine is surrounded by the King of Summer. We got the couple here, King and Queen, both showing up. So there is a couple represented. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise or compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. The King of Summer is warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. He's also a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, or anybody taking on those traits or attributes. like the Queen here. At the root, this is a very Scorpio spread thus far. At the root, it's the Ace of Spring. A wonderful new opportunity presents itself. It may have come as a surprise, but you'll still want to leap into action and passionately pursue every possibility. The Ace of Spring is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or maybe a Scorpio. Again, with Mars ruling Scorpio. Jupiter is in Scorpio. Jupiter, ruler of a red and a fire sign as well, Sagittarius. The Ace of Spring is a brand new opportunity for us, and like really like a divinely, it's something that you want. So if it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, which would be indicated here again by Judgment, the King of Summer, the Ace of Spring, this looks very lovely. Somebody may be getting the wand, although sex didn't show up in the dice, that can come up. But it's something or someone about which you are extremely passionate. So it's like getting your dream job, you know, being able to do what you want to do and you get paid for it, you know, or being in your dream relationship. Again, this can represent that dreamy energy, fantasizing, and then getting what we want when we take the step, the opportunity, and, you know, the time to, the conscious effort to take a step back and look and decide what you want to do. How do you want to move on? Crowning. Wow. I told you none of this was a mistake. I'll drop them another way next week. Crowning. It's the 6 of summer. The love and care of children can become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, that are ready to be revived. Like you put things to the side, maybe dreams that you had, partnerships you wanted to enter, whether they were relationships or a job or whatever, you put things to the side, maybe you get a chance to revisit it. The 6 of summer or cups is also like a past life relationship, soulmate card of the tarot. We have that showing up here, crossing the 2 of wands and sitting here next to Judgment, another 2 or 11. At the root, boom, it's unity, or the high priest or the Hierophant in the traditional tarot. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, to find a new teacher, or to spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. This can be about commitment, sitting here in between the Queen of Summer and the Ace of Spring, and crossing the King of Summer and the 2 of Spring, and mirroring the 6 of Summer. It's a very lovey spread here, but it doesn't have to be that. Again, these are just things. If it's not a romantic relationship, it can be a family relationship, a close friendship. It can be a job. Again, something about which you're passionate. Whatever it is something that is quite emotionally fulfilling, about which you are extremely passionate. So even if it is school, for example, which the Hierophant can represent, you know, you're finally getting to go to school. Maybe you always wanted to, right? It's a childhood dream of yours to have been a doctor, and you thought that you couldn't be one now because you're 30 and you never went to school. Well, you're getting the chance now. Like, it's that kind of thing. Like something that's really, really joyous to you. At the heart of the matter, boom. Why is this happening? Because you deserve it and it's time. You're getting your just due. Maybe Jupiter is sending it, right? Judgment. I'm sorry, this is Pluto. But yeah, same type of thing, same type of energy. You deserve it. You've been judged. Like karma, that karmic energy of the universe has determined it's your time, it's your day. And this Justice card does represent the sign of Libra or other air sign, Gemini, Aquarius. And again, remember, we do have activity with Venus this week. So this would be her. The Justice card, or Venus, rather, the planet, rules the sign of Libra. We have anything to clarify? I don't think so, but for fun, let's see what's under the Hanged Man. If there's anything else. So maybe we need to not only step back, but we're stepping back, perhaps, some of us at least, because we got to make a decision. Procrastination, which I said this can be about. This is that dreamy energy of Pisces and Neptune. What should I do? I don't know. I haven't done anything. La, 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 like that kind of thing? Well, procrastination and worrying what others will think, if that's what that's been about, is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. And it may be a question about which way to move, perhaps in a relationship or with regard to your spiritual path. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what could make you happy. Either way, you're in control. The next one's upside down. I think they're signaling me to stop there. Let's see what's under judgment. It's the Emperor. It's Mars, which, again, rules Scorpio and also Aries. And enters, it's in Scorpio. It leaves Scorpio this week and enters, what was it, Sagittarius. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. So where do you go from here? To the front line. You're in charge. Next one is upside down. So I'll stop there, even though I'm curious to see what else they might say about the Emperor. Under justice. Well, let's do unity first. It's upside down. So unity, again, or the high priest or the Hierophant, can represent, like I said, a relationship, which I would not be surprised if that's what it represented here. An opportunity to go to school, a new job, some legal matter going our way, working out in our favor. Perhaps ending in a settlement, financial settlement, as we saw before with the 10 of Earth having come through here. And that's also upside down. All right, so I'll do advice. And I'll get the Angel Tarot, since I won't disturb these. I'll get the Angel Tarot to give us advice from the Tarot deck. I'm beginning with yet another Six of Water. Remember, we're crowned by the Six of Water. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children and romanticizing the past. And opening to the King of Fire. So we have the Ace here, now we have a King. Motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic is the King of Fire. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision. Be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. King of Air, sticking out. King of Fire back. And opening to the Four of Water. Missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. Like recognizing the beautiful cup that we have and not worrying about the others, right? Not focusing on these three that are lost, perhaps, empty, spilled, not as pretty. And just focusing on what we have, like not coveting other people's blessings, all that kind of stuff. It's another Three of Earth. The power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. So again, this is about abundance earned. Can be about a relationship with somebody at work, since there seems to be a lot of relationship stuff coming up too. Can be that for some. And the Seven of Fire. Defend your beliefs and decisions. Stand your ground, but choose your battles wisely. That's like the... For me, the 9 is more so like the warrior and the warrior spirit. Like, don't give up, that keep fighting. But, you know, this is like the lead-in to that. I'll go one more. It's the Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations. Seeing the truth of a situation and maybe a challenging beginning. So the Ace of Air is a major card of victory. And it is a card of new beginnings. All aces are. And it comes through typically when we've had like a hard time getting there. But I think it's important to just focus on the fact that we're here, like that we arrived, and not how hard it may have been getting here. But here we have another 3. It's the World with Archangel Michael. A job well done. Major Arcana card, the World. So we have Major Arcana card 12 here with the Hangman, or they call it Awakening in the Animal Tarot. And now we have the mirror opposite, Major Arcana card 21, the World. A job well done. Joy, contentment, and gratitude in the path toward enlightenment. So for me, this is about being eased out of a situation. It's the universe that's easing you out. So like, whereas the Tower is sort of like an abrupt end or beginning, or, you know, abrupt movement in your life, this may take some time. And sometimes we can get impatient. Like, you know, we took our time. We didn't do what we could have done. We could have made a choice of our own. We never did. The universe has to step in. And now that we've noticed that it's stepping in and it's doing things in our life, we're getting impatient. So we do want to, I'm just feeling the need to voice that to you guys this week. I typically don't, but I'm feeling the need to, like, be patient. If you have if you're experiencing the energy of the World, let it work. And the 3 of Earth is back. The power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. If you are, you know, you're in line for a promotion, a raise, a bonus, you know, anything like that at work, and you haven't gotten it yet, it is coming. Do not slack off. Do not get so, like I was saying, that energy of the World. I was feeling the need to tell you to be patient. Don't get like so frustrated that it hasn't come yet that you start to act up and get yourself in trouble. Like, it's coming. This can also be raise and promotion as it relates to the universe and that the karmic energy of judgment maybe. And, you know, the universe looking down and wanting to give you a promotion or raise too, as in maybe like a raise in your vibration. Also surround yourself with people of your vibration or higher to continue that, and not to, and prevent yourself from being dragged down by, you know, negative energies and or entities. Also, yeah, this can have to do with a situation having to do with 3 people too. That's another possibility. Perhaps a love triangle, but not necessarily. Perhaps some sort of group at work, a project or something. But yeah, it could be a romantic person or a friend that you have that you met at work or something like that too. And with that, the advice to the masculine from the Angel Tarot is the King of Fire, who is motivational, idealistic, ambitious, and charismatic. Focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. Take advice from someone creative. The King of Fire is a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or maybe a Scorpio, or anybody taking on the traits or attributes of this sort of very passionate leader. He's also the divine masculine of the tarot. He is 1/2 of this 2 of Spring, right? 1/2 of the divine couple, if we want to look at it that way. And the masculine perhaps being guided to step up into his role, maybe as it relates to the union or in general, you know, be who you are, this divine being, whether it's at work or play or in your relationships. Feminine, 3 of Water, a celebration, a wedding, a graduation, or a birth announcement, and the need to have more fun. Some of us may need to be a little bit more social and welcoming and friendly. This can also have to do with a party of 3, however, as well. Maybe involving a water sign, especially with all this water sitting here. But I really am feeling that it has to do with more so with being social and spending time with maybe old friends. You bump into your old BFF. You haven't hung out with them in a while, or you haven't had time for work and play. You've been missing that balance. And it's time to balance the scales. It's time for you to, you know, to do some of that. All work and no play makes Jill a very dull girl. From the Angel Therapy cards by Doreen Virtue to the masculine, it's solar plexus chakra. It is safe for you to be powerful and to take charge of your life in positive ways. So again, you're being guided to take on the lead role this week, which is your role, you know, as a divine masculine. That's what you are. right? The Emperor. Also, with the Emperor having shown up here, again, this can have something to do with somebody's father or authority figure, maybe the father, if you believe in that. Again, Judgment or the Three of Earth, that can be the boss that's looking down on you too. But I just felt that. Feminine, indigo. The person you're inquiring about is an indigo, meaning a highly sensitive, natural-born leader. And lastly, from the Queen of Peace / Queen of Angels to the masculine tenderness. I am both gentle and powerful. So again, you can be a leader and still exercise some tenderness, some sensitivity. And this may be connected to the try again, and the song, right, Try a Little Tenderness, because the young girls, they do get weary, right? So what you want to do is maybe try a little tenderness. That can be what you have to try again to heal the relationships. And lastly, for the feminine, it's devotion from Mary. As I fully commit to my values, relationships, and God, or I would say like the universe too, that's another way to say it, or whatever, or whomever you believe, I am clear about what to do next. So this will help us to make our decisions, guide our decisions this week. But you know what? I think it's very clear here. If you have a decision to make, the idea, and it looks like only the masculine, necessarily does, but whomever does, and regardless of what it's about, what it entails, what it's involved, whether it's children or a soulmate or a job or, ascension, and, what do I do with regard to my spirituality and what path am I doing the right thing? Justice and equity and Venus is on our side, as is Mars, the masculine planet of love. And our passions, everything is ignited this week in all areas of abundance from what I can see here. So I'm really looking forward to love. I mean, after the Six of Water, the Two of Wands, the King and Queen of Water Cups, the Hierophant, Judgment, Justice, and the Ace of Spring. I can't wait to see what comes up with the love cards. So on that note, I'll talk to you guys again soon. I'll be back. Namaste, angels.
My feet won't touch the ground.